I am so happy with how this looks for the Rangers. We have a pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he is a dude.
And while I do think his hitting is worse than Derek Jeter, it's not that far off.
You're not mentioning 2006. You can mention the other people, not 2006.
Oh, just because I bought the best soap doesn't mean your room's going to be clean. It just leaves it to where I don't believe that the Canadians had a shot.
I really don't like the Clippers just kind of sending it in when they're like...
Hi, this is Kelly Forbes with the Dallas Stars, and listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. We're thinking about playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. And Austin, if we're looking at this question, I think you're going to be caught off by our debate. Because if you're asking me, does the playoff bracket reward winning? I'm going to say no.
I completely agree. I know that you said that before we recorded that you like it because of division rivalries. But think about this for a second. If we just take the top 8 teams in the West right now, we have Colorado. We are not looking at, we're just ranking 1 through 8. We're not looking at the seeds in the divisions. You have 1 that's Colorado. You have 2 that's Dallas. You have 3 that's Minnesota. Then you go Anaheim, Utah, Vegas, Edmonton, Nashville. Well, the 6 and the 7, Vegas and Edmonton, are going to play each other in the first round. The 6 and the 7, 2 of the worst teams in the conference, are going to have to play each other. And then you have the 4 and the 5. Well, you have the 4 and the 5 playing each other. The 2 and the 3 playing each other. And then the 1 and the 8. But if you're Nashville, if you can just get above Utah, now you're playing the 4. So it's... I think that I compared a lot. Again, I think the most screwed a team has ever gotten, draw-wise in the playoffs, is, again, San Francisco having to play the LA Dodgers in 2021. A 107 team playing a 105 win team in the NLDS, which is essentially the first round. I know the wild cards were the first round, but those series are so short, and especially back then when it was one game. They played the Cardinals. It was a 1-game playoff. That's a play-in game in my opinion. That's not really. I mean, it's in the playoffs, but this is the first series. Is the DS true series. So I think that's just not what the playoff wants. I know it's a bigger argument in the MLB because those series at the beginning are shorter. So why wouldn't the MLB want 7 games possibly of the Giants-Dodgers instead of 5? I know the Dodgers ended up losing to the Braves still, but I just don't necessarily love how the MLB has done theirs. And also, again, the NHL ranking it where it's the 2-1 seeds of both of the divisions, then the 2 and 3 in both of the divisions, and the best 2 wildcard teams across the conference. I think while it does increase the watchability of some series, it decreases the others. And I think that it creates some lackluster series where you could see some bad hockey, and one of those teams that's playing bad hockey could win.
Yeah, and when you talk, it can lead to an empty conference finals.
Yes, I think that's usually what you want to build up because it's right before the Stanley Cup. You obviously, if you're the NHL, you're competing very harshly with the NBA. Those 2 playoffs go along, not simultaneously, but for most of it, they're happening at the same time. And yeah, it makes it to where one team of the Pacific or the other Central team in the Nashville right now, there's a chance that a Pacific team gets in there because the Kings are right there. But that if you're Anaheim, I mean, you have a pretty easy route right now. Utah, a team that's worse than you. Vegas and Edmonton, that's worse than you. So you do play a Central team in Utah, but it just doesn't have. None of those teams are going to hit even close to the amount of points that any of the 3 top Central teams have. I think all 3 of the top Central teams will hit over 100 points, which is crazy for a division, but I don't think anybody in the Pacific will hit over 95 points. And that just creates, I think, a lack of consistency across the divisions.
There is inconsistencies, and it doesn't make sense if you want to reward winning in the middle, but it incentivizes that idea to get that one spot in your division and to avoid that second and third spot because
It
then
only
you're
does
going
that
to
for
win.
half of the divisions, though. It doesn't do it for
Wait,
the Pacific. What's the incentive of getting the one seed in the Pacific?
I think then you would get, once you get the second best, you'd get the best wild card team, right?
Yeah, but they're playing the one seed in the Pacific plays a harder team than the 2 and the 3. That was my whole point at the beginning. Is that
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Utah has more points than both Vegas and Edmonton. Theoretically, you're playing the better team as the one seed than either of the two teams below you in your own division. What is the point? I don't know what the point is to get the one seed. Sure, yes, for Avalanche, Stars, Wild, the 3 teams that could get it. I don't think the Wild really have a chance right now, but Dallas definitely does. There's definitely an incentive there, and there's a high incentive because you don't want to have to play. Dallas doesn't want to play the Wild or the Avalanche in the first round. Yeah,
To the
whatever.
Avalanche.
But if you're Vegas, what is the incentive of winning more games? And so I play a better team. I already have home ice advantage. As long as I stay above Edmonton, I'm playing a worse team, a team without Draisaitl in the first round. Sign me up.
Yeah, you can't argue that it incentivizes winning. What I like about it is these teams know each other and there's some fight and drama. And
But
that
I
to
would
me
argue that
is
those rivalries can be set across divisions. I think Vegas and the Stars have a pretty hefty rivalry, in my
and
opinion.
Edmonton too.
Yeah, so
I would
I
say.
think those can just be set naturally by the state of playing a team multiple times in the playoffs. The playoffs are going to be high intensity all the time. I mean, the Kraken in their one series against the Stars, that was a impassioned matchup. I think that's just the NHL doesn't have to play those games to get fans or teams more passionate for the series, in my opinion. Sure, there's other sports where the fans maybe aren't as into it or the players don't feel the rivalry, but in hockey, the way hockey's played, especially in NHL playoffs, that's going to be there, especially if the two teams are closely matched, which I think is what you should be striving to do instead of not rewarding winning. I think I don't know what Vegas's incentive is to pass the Ducks. How can you? It's almost like tanking already in the playoffs. It's like, hey, let's not get the one seed. Let's play the worser of the two teams. Maybe we sit a couple guys that maybe injured or not 100%, get them 100% for the playoffs, then be rewarded by playing the worser of the teams and then playing the Ducks in the next round or Utah, and then just win one series and you're in the Stanley Cup. Win 2 easy series and you're in the Stanley Cup, or win 2 easy series and then a hard series. But anything can happen in one series. It's 7-game series. Anything can happen. So just make something happen there, and then you're in the Cup, and then see what happens from there. So that's why I think my problem with it is because I don't know what the incentive is for Anaheim, Vegas, Edmonton, and getting the number 1 seed in their division. Sure, there's high incentive in the Central, but in the Pacific, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I can't argue against it. What I think the priority, which you could argue where the priority is wrong, the outcome of this to me is best for the fans and to attract new people in to the playoffs.
I don't think it's the best for the fans in some respect. I think it's even. I don't think it's the best or the worst because for teams that are worse, their fans are going to be happy because now they have a higher chance of winning a round. But if you're the Wild, the third best team in the conference, that should at least grant you home ice advantage, an extra home game, right? Your team is good. I want to see them 4 times, not 3, if they lose the series in 7. I just think home ice advantage is for the fans. That's where the fans get to make an impact in the series, and you are not allowing the fans that opportunity only because they're in the wrong part of the country.
I should change my word choice with fans for casual fans of hockey. They're they'll root for the Stars, or let's say you just want to watch a game. To me, this is the best option because you can zero in on a series and be like, I want to watch Stars Wild because They're two great teams. You did make an argument, though, of there are going to be some games you don't watch because of just how bad one division is, like the Pacific.
And then that also it adds up because then in the Western Conference Final, that series could be extremely underwhelming.
Yeah, that is where my argument falls apart. So it is interesting because you're competing with the NBA each round. So I can see that the argument for me would be you want the better matchups in the first round, or you always want the better matchups in the conference finals, but you're competing with a lot more games.
I would argue that you want to save your best for last if you're the NHL, because some people are not going to watch the first round just because it's a first round. Even if it's a good matchup, it's like, yeah, it's the first round. When you see Western Conference Final, like, oh, I want to watch that. It's the conference final. But then that's an underwhelming matchup, and then you lose those casual viewers for the Stanley Cup. I think that could be a real possibility. Again, I'm going to watch all the series no matter what, no matter who's in those series. I love watching hockey. I think the NHL playoffs are the best playoffs out there. I think they're the most enjoyable for me to watch, even if my favorite team isn't in those series. So I'm going to watch them. But as a casual fan, I don't know if I'd watch a first round matchup. Like, I'm thinking of a sport that I'm casually invested in, like golf. I like watching golf a little bit, but I only really watch the major tournaments. So if the Masters was bad and it wasn't that good and there was a lot of people missing easy putts, I don't know if I'd watch the PGA Championship. Like, well, I mean, the Masters was bad, so why would I watch the next one? I mean, I don't know if I'd watch it. And that's how I think of, like, oh, the Western Conference Final, that's a major, I mean, you're winning a trophy. You're winning a trophy for winning the Western Conference. And if that doesn't enthrall you, I don't know if you would watch the next round.
I'm different with how to me, I got to have some backstory, some drama involved. And to me, that's where I see these are two teams that I can see clearly they do not like each other, and there's some animosity in game one.
But I think that's true in every playoff series of the NHL. I mean, we're seeing fights in every series.
I think it's later on, though, like game 3 and 4, that's when it starts getting testy between both teams. But I think in game 1 and 2, you can see the fight in the first round matchup.
Sure, but I think immediately to Stars Vegas. Like, I mean, that was an extremely physical series immediately. Even in the first round, I'm talking about the first round matchup. And they were not even in the same division.
I would say, when was that? Because I'm thinking of after the Vegas had knocked them out.
I'm talking about their first round matchup. I think it was in 24, the year they lost to the Oilers in the.
Yeah, so to me, I remember that too. It's where they came back, and Vegas was the defending champs.
Yeah.
To me, there was animosity in that because of the year prior where the Stars were down 3-0 to Vegas in the Western Conference Finals.
Sure, but again, that's where I'm talking about that just happens naturally. Those are not divisional foes. I think that's just NHL hockey, playoff hockey being playoff hockey. I mean, I think that the Oilers and Florida, even in their first matchup, were extremely physical. Obviously, this last time they were as well. Again, trying to win a cup is going to be an extremely physical endeavor. And again, I just don't like how the playoffs are organized. I don't think it's the most effective way, even for fans or for teams.
It is not the most effective way. I don't think it's terrible, but there are a lot of things that, to me, could make it better, and I wouldn't hate seeing it. To me, there's something good, but you do make an argument of prioritizing winning and getting better, favorable matchups for the teams that have won more.
Yeah.
So that I'm very excited for the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are coming up quicker than I expected. We will keep you updated through all that. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.